I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
To my Mormon friends, my Latter-day Saint friends, think of him as Captain Moroni. He seeks not power to pull it down. He seeks not the praise of the world or the fake news, but he seeks the well-being and the peace of the American people.
In this security footage, you can see Officer Goodman running to respond to the initial breach. Officer Goodman passes Senator Mitt Romney and directs him to turn around in order to get to safety.
Brethren and sisters, we will now put you under covenant to obey and keep the law of sacrifice. And as Jesus Christ has laid down his life for the redemption of mankind, so we should covenant to sacrifice all that we possess, even our own lives if necessary, in sustaining and defending the kingdom of God. Each of you bring your right arm to the square. You and each of you solemnly covenant and promise before God, angels, and these witnesses at this altar that you will observe and keep the law of sacrifice as contained in the Holy Scriptures as it has been explained to you. Each of you bow your head and say yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
the mandate given by the First Presidency and the presiding bishopric is to only focus on financial growth. EPA employees are told that the money will be used after the second coming of Jesus Christ or during Armageddon right before he would come again.
I have faith that the Constitution will be saved as prophesied by Joseph Smith. But it will not be saved in Washington.
And a major city yet to be determined in Russia. And Shanghai, People's Republic of China.
However, Mormon extremists disregarded federal warnings and established Port Joe Smith, deep inside the...
Is there anything in your life, Kim, that hasn't been resolved with the proper priesthood authority?
Well, before Matt returned from his mission, I was involved with another boy.
That usually leads to not like the women at the office understand me. And pretty soon the women at the office start looking better and better, and your family looks worse and worse, and before you know it, boom, you've lost everything.
Mahana, you ugly.
I repeat, I will not burn the book.
Damn you! God damn you all to hell!
Travis went good, so. That thumbnail picture took me some time to work on. So, Alma, chapter 46. We're doing the obvious video for the day. Obvious video. Verse 10. Yea, we see that Amalickiah, in Hebrew, that would be without king of Yah. Yah being the Hebrew God. For all of you Christian insurrectionists of the Jews. And so Mosiah, Moses Yah, the king of the Jews. We'll get to him. He's next. Because he was a man of cunning device. Hey, like that serpent of the Danites in the Garden of Eden, baby. Don't you know that you drive me crazy? I just did that video. Just did it. Not too long ago. And a man of many flattering words, that he led away the hearts of many people to do wickedly, yea, to seek to destroy the church of God, and to destroy the foundation of liberty which God had granted unto them. Oh, or which blessings God had sent upon the face of the land for the righteous sake. My ocular device is malfunctioning. 7 of 9. Voyager. Oh, just hilarious. I saw that the other day. And now it came to pass that when Moroni who was the chief commander of the armies of the Nephites, had heard of these dissensions, he was angry with Amalickiah. And it came to pass that he rent his coat, and he took a piece thereof and wrote upon it, in memory of our God, our religion, and freedom, and our peace, and our plural marriage wives, and our children. And he fastened it upon the end of a pole. And he fastened on his headplate, and his breastplate, and his shields, girded about with the armor of the Lord. Is that Ephesians? The whole shield of faith, breastplate of righteousness, whatever. And he took the pole, which had on the end thereof his rent coat, and he called it the title of liberty. And he bowed himself to the earth, prayed mightily unto his God for the blessings of liberty to rest upon his brethren, so long as there should be a band of white supremacist Christian nationalists remain to possess the land. Seriously, you're going to be that dumb? Alright, Moses Yah. Come on. Alright. So Moses Yah is giving up the kingdom, creating the reign of the judges with the constitutional republic. And now behold, I say unto you, ye cannot dethrone an iniquitous king, save it be through much contention and the shedding of much blood. Who's voting for Trump? Who's gonna vote for Trump again? The leader of the Heritage Foundation, who came out with Project 2025, said as long as Democrats don't resist, there will be no bloodshed. If Democrats just let it happen, let America be taken over, and King Trump be enthroned on the throne, there will be no bloodshed. Resistance is futile. And our government is doing nothing to lock him up for his insurrection and terrorist demands. And so, yeah, King Noah. For behold, he has his friends in iniquity, and he keepeth his guards about him. SEAL Team 6. And he teareth up the laws of those who have reigned in righteousness before him. Make America great and abominable again. And he trampleth under his feet the commandments of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Just because it's Diet Coke. All soda pop is against the word of wisdom. We decided that caffeine wasn't good enough, so we're expanding it to anything unhealthy. And he enacteth laws, sendeth them forth among his people, Project 2025, and over the pulpit of the rallies. Yea, laws after the manner of his own wickedness, and the interviews. And whosoever doth not obey his laws, he causeth to be destroyed. Gonna get revenge. How dare you? He is not a rapist. He'll prove it by murdering you. And whosoever doth rebel against him, he will send his armies against them to war. Do not resist, just let it happen. There will be no bloodshed. Don't become just like them. Just surrender. God, I hear that so many times in TV shows and movies. Oh, you don't want to become like them and get justice. We've got to rehabilitate the criminals. We can't punish them unto death for their violent murder. They've got to be rehabilitated. On Star Trek, they were able to rehabilitate people with new technologies that are not based on science, even though it's sci-fi. And whosoever doth rebel against him, he will send his armies against them to war, and if he can, he will destroy them. Dear God. I mean, do we need to go over the whole list? And thus an unrighteous king doth pervert the ways of righteousness. Women are hated, and so they have to be enslaved as sex slaves. No education, no career, no mission in the LDS Church. Sex slaves, barefoot, pregnant, and in the kitchen. And even though that's very hot, a woman must choose and be free to change her mind, even though women change their minds too often. They cannot be trusted with their agency, so we got to take it away from them for their own good. Blacks, yep, you'll go back to the bleep hole country which you never came from. Big, massive deportation. Yeah, that Nazi from the Heritage Foundation, likewise, said there's going to be a massive deportation. It's coming. And all women also are, evil. Therefore, they got to cover up and hide, put on hijab and the veil. Because you women are porn. You're addictive. You're harmful. Children can't see you. How do babies get fed? And so, yeah, blacks, got to put you back in slavery. If not, kick you back to the country where you didn't come from. Because you've been slaves in America for too long. And those of color, from the southern border, you're a national security threat rather than seeking asylum, which is Congress's job to regulate. And so thus, MAGA is all about you being a threat and rapists and terrorists and insurrectionists, carrying diseases so that they can justify you as a security threat. And thus, it's the president's responsibility instead of Congress's responsibility. And, gotta remember the Jews, the ones who gave you the Bible, of which you now claim as Christian. Still waiting for Jesus, so you're gonna make Trump Jesus. Completely destroyed the Jewish Bible. It's the Jewish prophecies, it's the Jewish revelations. So guess what that means, Mormons? If the Bible's not Christian, is the Book of Mormon therefore Christian? Captain Moroni said we're Christian. It must mean Christianity of Constantine, right? have no idea what Christianity means by definition and translation from its Greek. Christian is not translated. Christian is Greek. Christos. Anointed. Human beings get anointed, not outer space alien lizard creatures who come down and rape their 14-year-old girl and then abandon her with the baby that is forced to have the baby and not abort it. So that he then becomes the savior of the world. Really? How is he the descendant of David if he's not the descendant of David? There's this thing called science. You know, seed, egg, baby. Who hates the Jews? Christians hate the Jews. Islam hates the Jews, who are a branch off of Christianity. Because Muhammad was from Saudi Arabia, which was a mixture of the Babylonians and the Jews. And so with Christianity being spread to those heathens, came Muhammad to merge them all together and say that they're all wrong, he's now right. The Bible's supposed to be interpreted with Islamic views, not Christian, and definitely not the Jewish authors who wrote it. LGBTQIAPO+. Bye-bye. It was a trap. You should have learned your history of Nazi Germany right before Nazi Germany. You were being labeled and categorized, or they were anyway, and then when it finally hit the fan, you were given a special star. Yay! You got a star. Pink. Isn't that great? Yeah, and so that they can identify you and lock you up and torture you unto death. Good job. Who put their sexual identity on their birth certificate and ID or license? How many of you got married? Yeah, you're all identified. They now know who you are. They're gonna get you. It's coming. Are you sure that you wanted to claim that? Conversion therapy? You didn't want conversion therapy, but you want Trump to be king. And you're not scared and wetting yourself yet? The poor. Yep. Get back to work. Pull yourselves up by your own bootstraps. Yep, it's now a crime to be homeless, thanks to SCOTUS. So where do you go if you can't live on the streets and you don't have a home? Suicide is painless, says MASH. Do you not understand these white supremacist Christian nationalists yet? Is it still not clicking in your brain? And so, yeah, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, bye-bye. No SNAP, no government benefits whatsoever. So all of you who are on government benefits, no more. What other group do we have that'll be attacked? Other religions, not just the Jews. So Islam? Yeah, oh, you didn't have enough people in America, especially in key positions of power, to actually do your plotted plot on October 7th. Ooh, so close. And so yeah, you'll have to go back to the bleep hole country of which you were a refugee from. What's up with that, Islam? the women and children were given asylum in the United States of America because of the religion abusing you. And so you come to America, you're free now, and yet you still wear the magic underwear. Oh, you wear it on the outside of your covenant temple bondage to your religion. And you claim that, what? Doesn't make sense. I don't understand why the government officials aren't saying, wait a minute, you claimed on your paperwork that you were fleeing from religious abuse. Why are you still wearing the clothing of your religious abuse? Request denied. Go back to the country where you came from, claiming abuse. Real simple. You know, they used to have inspectors for those who wanted to marry somebody who's not American, trying to get citizenship through that way, and Biden just passed it into law again. So now the process will resume. Chuck and Larry get married or something like that. Adam Sandler movie. They became gay just so that they can get insurance? What? Hazard pay? What? What's up with that? Something's wrong with that fire department. But nonetheless, yeah. There's supposed to be checks to make sure that you're legitimate. That if you're marrying just to get citizenship, that you get exposed and denied. If you're trying to become a citizen, to be a sleeper cell in America to rise up on October 7th, no, you don't get to come to America. But nonetheless, other religions, you have to bow the knee, Pope. Bow the knee to Trump. Can you imagine that? Trump demanding that Pope come to D.C. in 2025 and kiss Trump's ring and bow the knee to Trump. Would the Pope do that? Because Jesus is real, right? The Jewish authors who told stories about a guy named Jesus, that's all literal history, right? It wasn't Constantine who turned it literal history. It wasn't prophecy and revelation. Nope, not at all. So how many Mormons are voting for Trump? Are you sure? Trump doesn't want to be Mormon. He doesn't want to wear your underwear. Are you sure you want to vote for Trump? Are you sure he's going to give you religious freedom? What SCOTUS did should backfire on Trump. Biden needs to take advantage of this right now. The insurrection is still going on right now. The Insurrection Act needs to be invoked by Biden to tear down the corruption that's going on. Captain Moroni already notified Pehoran. Pehoran's not responding. America is under attack. America is at siege. The whole purpose of the Revolutionary War was because the Declaration of Independence was an act of insurrection against King George. America did not want to have a monarchy anymore. We all know this. We all get taught in school, don't we? Maybe in Utah they don't teach you. They only teach you about July 24th. The founding of America and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Salt Lake City, Utah. That's the name it's always been. Brigham Young said this is the right place and named it Utah. Really? He named it Judah, did he? The betrayer of his brother Joseph? Ooh, you didn't think about that, did you? Right, because remember, Bible, prophecy, and revelation. Who betrayed Joseph? Judah betrayed Joseph. Who betrayed Jesus? Which Joseph is Yah of the reed. Everybody says many. No. Yah. Yah is in the name of Joseph. He's the Christ of Genesis. Is betrayed by his brother Judah, phonetically the same as Utah. Top of the mountains, Judah. Pyramids, top of the mountains, capstone. Ringing any bells, people? And Jesus, Yah of salvation. There's that Yah again. 19 July 1840, Joseph Smith says he is likened unto Jesus of the Last Supper with the 12 apostles, and says that they'll betray him and murder him. Referring to Mark chapter 14, the Last Supper. And so as Judas betrayed Jesus, Judah betrayed Joseph, Brigham and his Danite apostles and missionaries, the evil-disposed and designing persons militating against Joseph and his Church of the Latter-day Saints by putting in Jesus Christ in the name of the church. And so, his kingdom is Utah. Judah betrays Joseph Smith. Did they at least mention that Joseph Smith died on the 27th of June? Nope. Mormon crickets. Just me. I'm the only one who talked about it. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints betrayed Joseph Smith. Prophecy fulfilled. Bible is true. Those Jews, so clever. Do you deny prophecy and revelation, Mormons? Did the prophecy not come to pass? Still in denial? And so yeah, Thomas B. Marsh, chased out by the Danites. Danites told him that Joseph Smith is the leader of the Danites. Is he? No. Never was. Brigham was. Brigham exalted himself while Joseph was having legal problems because of the Danites. And so Thomas B. Marsh believed that the Danites were telling him the truth. Really? You're that much of a sucker and a loser, huh? And they threatened him. Join us or die. You know, Benjamin Franklin's thing. No, that has to do with the British are coming. Join the resistance or die by the hands of the British. But those Danites, yeah, join us or die. And they still do it to this day. Mormons committing crimes, threatening other people. Believe us, join us, or die. get punished if you leave the church, don't you, ex-foes? It's an all-out war. And as long as ex-foes don't resist, come back to the church, no, there won't be bloodshed. Right, Desnat? Deseret Nation, an insurrectionist coup of the United States of America. Does Trump know about this? You're going to have to bow the knee to Trump, too. You just don't believe those Jews, do you? They have this holy day called Purim. It comes from the book of Ishtar, that Babylonian goddess. In which the bad guy was betraying the king and thus the Jews to build a weapon to murder them. And it was found out, got leaked at a rally. And Esther was told, "You gotta save us, you're the only one who can see the king." So she risked death to see the king. It's only because she's a hottie that he allowed her to live. And she told him, "I'm a Jew. And I'm going to be murdered." So the king was upset and used the weapon on the enemy. And so the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, in league with the Council for National Policy, and thus the Heritage Foundation with Project 2025, and Steve Bannon, who just reported to prison, and Leonard Leo, who's been hooking the SCOTUS up with billionaires to overthrow the government, overthrow the Constitution. Yeah, they're all a part of this little gang to overthrow the government. Psychologists who came from Nazi Germany to thank their American liberators with the destruction of America and the return to Nazi Germany here in America. Yeah, wow, never saw that coming. And how many people are pushing to embrace psychology? MAGA, bully people, calling them all the psychological name calling, and the deep state Dem liberals say, "Oh, we need to reform criminals." Now, what do you think that means? Psychologists. That means conversion therapy, LGBTQIAPO+. Your party wants you to go back into conversion therapy. It's a trap. You fell for it. Because MAGA wants to murder you for being LGBTQIAPO+, and your own party wants to electrocute you to death, torture you. Yay. And you thought Star Trek New Generations was true, that you could just pick your sexual identity. Data's daughter. This is all true because it happened. I saw the episode, the historical documents. It's all true. It's all a trap, guys. The Illuminati infiltrated America through the Scottish Rites. Joseph Smith Sr. put a stop to it on 9/11/1826, thus gave birth to the Book of Mormon, warning of their threat in the latter days, and thus the Church of Christ, with 6 people, not 5 people, of Johann Adam Weishaupt. And so, Danites infiltrated Joseph's church to destroy it, and take it over, and use it as a weapon in the latter days. Others became Confederates in the South. the Danites would go on to overthrow Joseph and murder him, and sex traffic women and children, along with human trafficking, to this valley that we celebrate every 24th of July to become the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So there's really not much branching off. But Confederates, after losing the Civil War, would become the KKK. KKK would eventually go on to become Nazi sympathizers. And Christian nationalists. Evangelicalism being the Christian nationalists. Utilizing revelation as their focus for the latter days, which is what the Illuminati, through all these different groups, were symbolizing, were plotting for. They're all of the same cloth. And so after World War II, you get psychologists given asylum in America to work with the CIA to torture Americans and abuse them and seek ways to brainwash the masses so that you become slaves, your agency gone. And then you have the McCarthy hearings. Apparently, as a Republican, which used to be a liberal platform, now all of a sudden is against liberalism, claiming there's a threat of commies. And there was. Commies won the war. So the spread of communism, obviously. Nazism is gone, so communism flourishes. And so thus McCarthy decides to be a turncoat and become a Nazi to decry the terrorism of communism in America. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints made very clear we are not communist. We fully support Nazism, just like we did in World War II. Those Confederates also, by the way, who lost, came and settled in the land of Dixie in southern Utah. Yep. Missionaries were sent to them to convert them and bring them to Zion and life evermore. And so, the Republican Party becomes the Nazi Party. The conservatives. To take away agency. So little by little, Nixon's campaign introduced the inverted pentagram on the elephant. Turn that star upside down. If by chance you see see a pentagram, do not let it stay. Quickly turn it upside down and invert it today. There was the clue. They all have the symbol. They all have the sign. And then white supremacists, Christian nationalism began to rise. And so then we get the Tea Party. Senator Mike Lee, direct third great grandson of John D. Lee, of the insurrection against Joseph Smith in 1838, as well as 9/11, 1857. Mountain Meadows Massacre. Women and children. And so I'm sure that his heritage didn't get passed to him in Congress, in the Senate. And Tea Party. That was about the Boston Tea Party that rejected Britain's taxes on tea. And so in rebellion, they dumped the tea in the water so that the British couldn't obtain money for it. And so why are they calling themselves the Tea Party? To overthrow the government? Because they aren't talking about taxation. They're not seeking to have American citizens not pay taxes anymore, as the original Constitution decried. It was that amendment that now forced us to pay taxes. So that originally it was just businesses that were supposed to pay taxes. Britain paid tariffs and import fees and such forth. That was supposed to fund America, not American citizens. So no, the Tea Party was all about taxing the people, the poor people, not the rich people, the poor people, not the corporations, the poor people of America. Tax them, because that'll generate a lot of money, won't it? And so how much are we in debt? $35 trillion now? All because you're taxing the poor and not corporations. You're not living within your means. Republicans used to be fiscally responsible. Not since Bush. Thanks to Reagan economics. Hey, let's give handouts to the big corporations, and that'll improve the economy. Has it? Has it? Have they improved the quality of the products that they sell? Do they pay high living wages to their employees? Do they lower the prices of their goods and services to the people? Are we all prosperous under these corporations, Big Pharma, Amazon, Facebook, Walmart? What kind of economy is a Walmart anyway, and Amazon? What kind of economy? Capitalism, right? It's not communism. A central marketplace controlled by a governing body. Who's voting for Trump? Who's voting for Trump? Do we need to go over the 5 covenant paths? I've already gone over with you that we're not Christian. The Book of Mormon's not Christian. It's not another testament of Jesus Christ. It's Jewish. And so thus, what is the church doing to you? They take away your agency. You must obey. You must wear the underwear, which is a symbol of your bondage to the church. You must be loyal. You must sacrifice your life for the kingdom. The church must not be prosecuted. The church must not fall. Wait a minute, I thought the people were Zion. The church should be prospering the Mormons, not the Mormons prospering the church. Because otherwise, if the Mormons get booted out of the church, oh no, faith crisis. What do? Those Zoramites. What do? Exfo Nevermos. They don't, Exfos, technically, not Nevermos. Didn't you catch on? Didn't you learn from the Zoramite story? That's you. You got kicked out. They abused you, called you names for being poor and unemployed. And so thus, what does Alma and Amulek talk to them about? Faith! Oh, you have a faith crisis because you got kicked out of the church, because you thought it was true. You didn't study. You didn't study the scriptures, you didn't study church history, and thus you went through a faith crisis. Knowledge protects you from a faith crisis. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints does not want you to therefore obtain knowledge. Purposely to sabotage you, to have a faith crisis, so that it puts fear in you and guilt and shame to go back to the church. I was wrong. I had a faith crisis. I was weak. I'm a sensitive snowflake. I'm a sucker and a loser. Take me back. Here's my money. I'm all paid up now. Welcome back, Avraham Gileadi. Thanks for betraying the Jews. For the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They have no authority to lead the church. Brigham Young was only the missionary president after cooing it, removing Thomas B. Marsh, who said that the church is going to overthrow the government in the latter days. Going to overthrow the United States and then the world. That's their plot. 200 years. And so Brigham Young only had the keys of the president of the 12 that he usurped. And so is that the president keys for the church, the whole church? Well, then why was Joseph the president of the church if Brigham Young had all the keys to be president? Oh, there are more keys? Brigham Young did not have those keys? What were those other keys that Brigham Young did not have authority for? Temple? Leading the church? The patriarch of the church? The High Council administration? Not catching on? We get taught that we, as lowly Melchizedek priesthood holders, cannot usurp the authority of those above us. And so what makes you think Brigham can do it? There's a due process for succession, and it's not Brigham Young gets to be the president. Find it. You won't find it. It doesn't exist. Brigham Young made it up. Why did Brigham make it up? Why didn't Alpheus Cutler of the administrative 12 make it up? Brigham has to be the leader because he's the president of the 12 missionaries. Why didn't Alpheus Cutler do that? Why didn't James Strang? Why didn't Sidney Rigdon? Why didn't Emma Smith? You didn't think about that, did you? Brigham has no authority to be the president. Thus, Nelson has no authority to be the president. You got deceived, Mormons. You were told, don't listen to anybody who is not authoritative. Brigham is not authoritative. You listen to him, you've been deceived. He's going to murder you now. Good job, Mormons. You're going to vote for Trump. Happy Independence Day. We're getting the king back, apparently.